You may have anxiety regarding your well-being or your loved ones when thinking about coronavirus. Ms. Divya Dureja can help you to see in different light and reduce your worries. Anything you feel, you can share or ask your parents or friends at this point. Anything you feel hesitant about, ask her. Friendship issues, relationship issues, feeling unsafe, family fights, unable to focus or study, or just feeling really unhappy during the lockdown. Just share with her anonymously in this live session and she will help you to find the solutions. Okay, so let us just know about the webinar facilitator. Divya Dureja is a three-time TEDx speaker, international spoken word and performance poet, and a counseling psychologist based in New Delhi. Upon return, she focused on after completing her bachelor's and master's in degree in psychology. Wait just a second. Everybody is able to see this screen? Are there some issues?
Yes, we are able to see the screen. You continue.
Okay. Divya Dureja is a three-time TEDx speaker, international spoken word and performance poet, and a counseling psychologist based in New Delhi, India. After completing her bachelor's and master's degree in psychology from the University of Delhi, she went on to acquire experience in communication and LGBTQIA well-being advocacy in New York City. Upon return, she focused on designing and conducting psychology workshops to facilitate the well-being of alternate identities, school children, teachers, and corporate employees. She focuses on the key areas of sensitization and awareness on the topics such as POSCO Act, empowering schools, teachers, and staff with appropriate tools mandated by NCRT, resolving identity challenges and psychological challenges, know your body and know your rights, overcoming stresses and bullying, and enhancing relationships and team productivity. She designs and conducts workshops in skill developments and programs with corporates, university, and school students on the themes of feminine hygiene, sexuality, mental health, and relationships. She serves as a panelist and on LGBT themed seminars. These institutions and organizations include British High Commission, the American Center, Max Hospital, AIMS Delhi, Wipro, and many others. She's been an expert guest writer for columns of HT newspaper and expert panelist in shows like NDTV, NewsX, India Ahead News, and HT Live, and radio broadcasts such as Radio Mishi's show. She has also been the voice for digital and print campaigns and performances with the Queen, Indian Express, Hindustan Times, Lakme Fashion Weeks, and many others. Her focus on mental and well-being for all persons continues to drive her towards the newer ventures. Okay, so you can ask your questions anonymously by clicking on the chat box. Instead of everyone, you can choose Divya Dureja. Over to you, madam, now. Divya, madam, over to you. I think there are some issues.
Um, Sorry everyone, there is some technical glitch. So we will be continuing in just 1 minute. Thank you.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. So everyone is muted to avoid disturbances.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Today's question and answer webinar, like Savarna has already explained, I'm here to take your questions. Any worries that you have, you can write them anonymously to me. I already have a few questions with me that you all have sent. But before we begin, I would like to show a video about something that we're all experiencing, which is loneliness and isolation. And I want to just show this video so we can understand a bit of the what goes on in our mind and the psychology of it. And then I can begin with the question and answers. So just give me a second. I will share my screen and show the video. Can you see this video screen? Suvarna, can you give me a feedback? Can you see this video screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And okay, let's go.
Everybody is familiar with the feeling that things are not as they should be, that you're not successful enough, your relationship's not satisfying enough, that you don't have the things you crave. A chronic dissatisfaction that makes you look outwards with envy and inwards with disappointment. Pop culture, advertising, and social media make this worse by reminding you that aiming for anything less than your dream job is failure. You need to have great experiences constantly, be conventionally attractive, have a lot of friends, and find your soulmate, and that others have all of these things and are truly happy. And of course, a vast array of self-improvement products implies that it's all your fault for not working hard enough on yourself. In the last 2 decades, researchers have been starting to investigate how we can counteract these impulses. The field of positive psychology emerged, the study of what makes life worth living, while cognitive behavioral therapy was developed to change negative feelings. Scientists began to ask, why are some people happier and more satisfied than others, and are there ways to apply what they're doing right to the rest of us? In this video, we want to talk about one of the strongest predictors of how happy people are, how easily they make friends, and how good they are at dealing with hardship. An antidote to dissatisfaction, so to speak. Gratitude. While gratitude may sound like another self-improvement trend preached by people who use hashtags, what we currently know about it is based on a body of scientific work and studies. We'll include them in the description. Gratitude can mean very different things to different people in different contexts. It's a character trait, a feeling, a virtue, and a behavior. You can feel grateful towards someone who did something for you, for random events like the weather, or even for nature or fate.
This video was kind of just a little bit of start to show that if you're feeling lonely, the idea is to get and share more with people. I accidentally put the wrong video. This was supposed to be after that. So I'll just go ahead and play the other video that will introduce the topic of the isolation.
We are living in the most connected time.
Yeah.
We are living in the most connected time in human history, and yet an unprecedented number of us feel isolated. Being lonely and being alone are not the same thing. You can be filled with bliss by yourself and hate every second surrounded by friends. Loneliness is a purely subjective, individual experience. If you feel lonely, you are lonely. A common stereotype is that loneliness only happens to people who don't know how to talk to people or how to behave around others. But population-based studies have shown that social skills make practically no difference for adults when it comes to social connections. Loneliness can affect everybody. Money, fame, power, beauty, social skills, a great personality. Nothing can protect you against loneliness because it's part of your biology. Loneliness is a bodily function, like hunger. Hunger makes you pay attention to your physical needs. Loneliness makes you pay attention to your social needs. Your body cares about your social needs because millions of years ago it was a great indicator of how likely you were to survive. Natural selection rewarded our ancestors for collaboration and for forming connections with each other. Our brains grew and became more and more fine-tuned to recognize what others thought and felt and to form and sustain social bonds. Being social became part of our biology. You were born into groups of 50 to 150 people, which you usually stayed with for the rest of your life. Getting enough calories, staying safely warm, or caring for offspring was practically impossible alone. Being together meant survival. Being alone meant death. So it was crucial that you got along with others. For your ancestors, the most dangerous threat to survival was not being eaten by a lion, but not getting the social vibe of your group and being excluded. To avoid that, your body came up with social pain. Pain of this kind is an evolutionary adaptation to rejection, a sort of early warning system to make sure you stop behavior that would isolate you. Your ancestors who experienced rejection as more painful were more likely to change their behavior when they got rejected and thus stayed in the tribe, while those who did not got kicked out and most likely died. That's why rejections hurt, and even more so, why loneliness is so painful. These mechanisms for keeping us connected worked great for most of our history until humans began building a new world for themselves. The loneliness epidemic we see today really only started in the late Renaissance. Western culture began to focus on the individual. Intellectuals moved away from the collectivism of the Middle Ages, while the young Protestant theology stressed individual responsibility. This trend accelerated during the Industrial Revolution. People left their villages and fields to enter factories. Communities that had existed for hundreds of years began to dissolve, while cities grew. As our world rapidly became modern, this trend sped up more and more. Today, we move vast distances for new jobs, love, and education, and leave our social net behind. We meet fewer people in person, and we meet them less often than in the past. In the US, the mean number of close friends dropped from 3 in 1985 to 2 in 2011. Most people stumble into chronic loneliness by accident. You reach adulthood and become busy with work, university, romance, kids, and Netflix. There's just not enough time. The most convenient and easy thing to sacrifice is time with friends. Until you wake up one day and realize that you feel isolated, that you yearn for close relationships. But it's hard to find close connections as adults, and so loneliness can become chronic. While humans feel pretty great about things like iPhones and spaceships, our bodies and minds are fundamentally the same they were 50,000 years ago. We are still biologically fine-tuned to being with each other. Large-scale studies have shown that the stress that comes from chronic loneliness is among the most unhealthy things we can experience as humans. It makes you age quicker, it makes cancer deadlier, Alzheimer's advance faster, your immune system's weaker. Loneliness is twice as deadly as obesity and as deadly as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. The most dangerous thing about it is that once it becomes chronic, it can become self-sustaining. Physical and social pain use common mechanisms in your brain. Both feel like a threat, and so social pain leads to immediate and defensive behavior when it's inflicted on you. When loneliness becomes chronic, your brain goes into self-preservation mode. It starts to see danger and hostility everywhere. But that's not all. Some studies found that when you're lonely, your brain is much more receptive and alert to social signals, while at the same time, it gets worse at interpreting them correctly. You pay more attention to others, but you understand them less. The part of your brain that recognizes faces gets out of tune and becomes more likely to categorize neutral faces as hostile, which makes it distrustful of others. Loneliness makes you assume the worst about others' intentions towards you. Because of this perceived hostile world, you can become more self-centered to protect yourself, which can make you appear more cold, unfriendly, and socially awkward than you really are. If loneliness has become a strong presence in your life, the first thing you can do is to try to recognize the vicious cycle you may be trapped in. It usually goes something like this. An initial feeling of isolation leads to feelings of tension and sadness, which makes you focus your attention selectively on negative interactions with others. This makes your thoughts about yourself and others more negative, which then changes your behavior. You begin to avoid social interaction, which leads to more feelings of isolation. This cycle becomes more severe and harder to escape each time. Loneliness makes you sit far away from others in class, not answer the phone when friends call, decline invitations until the invitations stop. Each and every one of us has a story about ourselves, and if your story becomes that people exclude you, others pick up on that. And so the outside world can become the way you feel about it. This is often a slow creeping process that takes years and can end in depression and a mental state that prevents connections even if you yearn for them. The first thing you can do to escape it is to accept that loneliness is a totally normal feeling and nothing to be ashamed of. Literally everybody feels lonely at some point in their life. It's a universal human experience. You can't eliminate or ignore a feeling until it goes away magically, but you can accept that you feel it and get rid of its cause. You can self-examine what you focus your attention on and check if you are selectively concentrating on negative things. Was this interaction with a colleague really negative? Or was it really neutral or even positive? What was the actual content of an interaction? What did the other person say? And did they say something bad, or did you add extra meaning to their words? Maybe another person was not really reacting negatively, but just short on time. Then there are your thoughts about the world. Are you assuming the worst about others' intentions? Do you enter a social situation and have already decided how it will go? Do you assume others don't want you around? Are you trying to avoid being hurt and not risking opening up? And if so, can you try to give others the benefit of the doubt? Can you just assume that they're not against you? Can you risk being open and vulnerable again? And lastly, your behavior. Are you avoiding opportunities to be around others? Are you looking for excuses to decline invitations? Or are you pushing others away preemptively to protect yourself? Are you acting as if you're getting attacked? Are you really looking for new connections, or have you become complacent with your situation? Of course, every person and situation is unique and different, and just introspection alone might not be enough. If you feel unable to solve your situation by yourself, please try to reach out and get professional help. It's not a sign of weakness, but of courage. However, we look at loneliness as a purely individual problem that needs solving to create more personal happiness, or as a public health crisis, it is something that deserves more attention. Humans have built a world that's nothing short of amazing, and yet none of the shiny things we've made is able to satisfy or substitute our fundamental biological need for connection. Most animals get what they need from their physical surroundings. We get what we need from each other. And we need to build our artificial human world based on that. Let's try something together. Let's reach out to someone today. Regardless if you feel a little bit lonely or if you want to make someone else's day better. Maybe write a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Call a family member who's become estranged. Invite a work buddy for a coffee. Or just go to something you're usually too afraid to go to or too lazy to go to, like a D&D event or a sports club. Everybody's different, so you know what's a good fit for you. Maybe nothing will come of it, and that's okay. Don't do this with any expectations. The goal is just to open up a bit, to exercise your connection muscles so they can grow stronger over time, or to help others exercise them.
Hi, welcome back. So this is a video from YouTube. I can share the link. It was to make one understand that loneliness or isolation is a very normal feeling and it's very subjective. There is nothing predefined that, oh, because you're surrounded by 5 people, you don't have the right to be lonely. You can still feel lonely. So I already have a few questions that have come to me. I can see the full chat. Some people are writing a lot. I would request this person, because it's going to take a lot of time to read, to, if they feel comfortable enough, to come on the video and ask me. Shall I start with the questions I've already received, Saksham or Suvarna, or shall I get into
Yes,
these?
ma'am.
Okay. So I will start with some of the questions that have come from everybody. So
Ma'am,
yeah,
let's have 2-3 questions that we have
Okay.
already having, and
Okay.
after that we will open questions from the audience.
All right, let's do that. So I am understanding that we have people of all ages who have joined us today, from 6th grade to 12th grade. Do we also have teachers and parents with us today? Okay, I don't know if Saksham's hearing me, but I will assume that we've got a good range here, and I will begin answering the questions that I have.
Yes, ma'am. So
Yeah.
I got your voice just now.
All right. Can you tell me who all are here? Only students or teachers?
Yes, students, teachers, and parents are there.
Okay. So the first question I have is how to move on from an ex. It's been more than 2 years. I'm still not able to move on, though my ex has moved on. I'm not able to trust any guy. Now, again, we don't know if this is a teenager who sent in a question or an adult or a teacher themselves. So I will give a very generic solution to this. Again, I'm only here trying to make you see another perspective to your current situation. This is not a substitute for an actual counseling session where we can actually go into your solutions, problems, and really help resolve and give you a happy joy state in your life. So these are just to show you perspective to your issues, different perspective to your problems that you have written to me. So moving on from X is entirely a very, again, a subjective issue. We also tell people not to move on, but to move through. So it is important to grieve, and you've created beautiful with another person. You have created a sense of intimacy, love, passion, care, and emotions have gone in. It takes time to process that this person is not going to be in your life in the same way. Of course, it depends how you have parted, on what terms. That will determine how you kind of get yourself together and move on from it. I say that it is very essential that in a relationship, when you do get into a relationship, you never forget that there are 6 other important parts of your life. Your entire wheel of life is made up of a lot of things. Your relationship is one aspect, your family, how are things in your family? If you were to rate them between 1 to 10, where in the joy scale are you in that? Your hobbies, have you left all your hobbies, or are you still pursuing your hobbies? Then career, if you're a student, then it's studies, or if you're a working person, it's career. Then comes fun and leisure activities. Then comes, friendships. So if you have all these other, parts of your life still there, the 6 other parts that are doing okay, it gets kind of better. Unless you had put all your eggs in one basket, which was your relationship, of course it's going to get very difficult because you weren't living in a healthy manner. So to whoever who has written this question to me, I hope you can get a perspective of life, that I hope you are focusing on other areas of your life also. That is how you will move through this. And if you want, you can reach out to me. I am on Instagram at @Divya_IN. Fergus can share my contact with you as well. I'm on Facebook also. And I give one-on-one counseling sessions as well. I would not want you to continue feeling unhappy and, in stress. So if you feel it's getting too much, please feel okay to reach out. Next question that I have from here is, I have exam phobia during the exam days. I feel very nervous due to stress. I sometimes vomit also. How to get rid of stress? So stress is actually a neutral word. When stress gets too much to handle, it's called distress. But there is a good amount of stress also. There's a reason why we have unit tests, then exam, then we move to college, then job interviews. This amount of little bit of stress in a progressive manner makes us productive. Imagine if you didn't have any deadlines, nothing to do, we'll all be couch potatoes. There won't be any source of motivation. So exams and unit tests are there to push us into learning and revising and memorizing and making ourselves more knowledgeable. So the idea is to change your perspective about the exam. What is it that's worrying you? Are you seeing it as this very worrying factor that's overarching everything? Then we have to break it down into, like, okay, this is an exam. It is simply to assess how much I have learned. So what do I need to do? I need to learn. Let me make a schedule. Let me read 1 chapter a day, or let me read 10 pages. Begin with short goals to reach the ultimate goal. So try to break it into parts and understand what's happening with you. And sometimes if your habit has become, like I can see you get vomiting and everything, then there are more techniques that we have in therapy to help you overcome this fear, or in your way you have written exam phobia. I hope this new perspective helps. I'd like to now take in some questions that we have already received. Saksham or Suvarna, if you can come on the chat and let me know which question. Okay, you are not receiving, I am receiving privately, so I will not be taking anybody's name. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So I have one big question here, which is, वैदिक नमस्कार सभी को, नमस्कार। मेरा नाम है, नाम बताऊं यहाँ पे या नहीं? बता देती हूँ। हम नाम नहीं बता रहे हैं आज, तो भी नाम नहीं बताएंगे। कोरोना का डर सच्चा है, परंतु इससे कुछ सकारात्मक चीजें भी निकल कर आई हैं, जैसे अपने परिवार के सब करीब आए, जो रोज की भाग दौड़ वाली जिंदगी में संभव नहीं था। ये तो बात सच है। मैं अपने सब्जेक्ट की बात करूं तो आज भी बच्चों के साथ ऑनलाइन माध्यम से जुड़ा हूं। ये एक योगा टीचर हैं। योग का अभ्यास बच्चे विद्यालय में करते ही थे, पर आजकल ऑनलाइन क्लास के माध्यम से योग उनके साथ उनके घर तक भी पहुंचा, और आज बच्चे सुबह उठकर अपने परिवार के साथ योग कर रहे हैं। तो ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि आपके स्कूल के साथ ये चल रहा है, क्योंकि अभी हम बात करेंगे कि कैसे डिप्रेशन और आइसोलेशन ये सब फील ना हो। उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है हम ADLs पे फोकस करें। ADLs क्या होते हैं? एक्टिविटीज ऑफ डेली लिविंग। तो सही टाइम पे अगर हम सोए, सही टाइम पे मोटे, और कुछ बॉडी में मरम्मत करें या एक्सरसाइज करें, वो बहुत जरूरी है। बिकॉज हमारी एक बायोलॉजिकल क्लॉक होती है, अंधेरा होने पर उसको उसी समय रेस्ट चाहिए। चाहे आप सुबह सो जाएं, चाहे 8 आवर्स सो जाएं, आप यू विल स्टिल फील वेरी फेटीग्ड। तो ये आई नो बड़ा मुश्किल लग रहा है कि कहीं बाहर जाना नहीं है या अच्छे कपड़े पहनने नहीं है, तो वी आर ऑल गेटिंग इनटू दैट मेंटल स्टेट की जब भी सो जाओ जब भी उठ जाओ। ये नहीं होने देना है. हम इंसान हैं, हम उल्लू नहीं हैं. हमें रात को सोना है और सुबह उठना है. एंड आई एम सो ग्लैड दैट अगर आपके पास एक टीचर है जो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस दे रहे हैं, आप जरूर वो ज्वाइन करें. उससे फिजिकल एंड मेंटल बेनिफिट्स बहुत सारे हैं. सो क्वेश्चंस पे आते हैं अब हम. एक है, व्हाई डू वी हैव कांस्टेंट नेगेटिव थॉट्स? इज इट अ साइन ऑफ माइल्ड डिप्रेशन? अगेन, सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस नहीं करें. ये वो आप थेरेपिस्ट पे छोड़े. इफ यू आर हैविंग नेगेटिव थॉट्स, जिसको हम रुमिनेशंस बोलते हैं, तो डिपेंड करता है कि आप क्या स्ट्रेस फील कर रहे हैं, हम जिनको हम स्ट्रेसर्स बोलते हैं, और कौन सी चीज के बारे में नेगेटिव थॉट आ रहे हैं, और आपकी सिचुएशन क्या है. तो हम कभी ऐसे एकदम से डायग्नोसिस नहीं बोलेंगे. इट इज ओके टू से आई एम फीलिंग लो, बट डोंट जंप टू अ डायग्नोसिस लाइक डिप्रेशन. टॉक टू अ थेरेपिस्ट, anybody you're comfortable with, and take it forward. I've been feeling really lonely from past 6 months. Nothing is helping. What to do? So just now we saw a video on why one feels lonely or isolated and what to do. There were some really good tips and solutions in that. So I hope you can kind of get into that. And I will again share link after this, and you can rewatch that video to understand how to kind of help yourself. Uh, of course, if this has been going on for 6 months, there are certain patterns you may have developed which are further in a way making you feel isolated from others. So we have to undo those patterns. Without much more information, I can't give more any tips on this, but that video should help you, and of course you can reach out to me or any other counselor for this. Next question. There are family members who are difficult to deal with, but I maintain my calm, but it impacts my well-being. तो हो क्या गया है, सब एक दूसरे के स्पेस में आ गए हैं, और ये एक सिनेरियो सबकी लाइफ में फील हो रहा है. तो मैं अपनी फैमिली का एग्जांपल दे दूं. हमने क्या करा हुआ है कि हमने ड्यूटीज बांट ली हैं. ठीक है, एक जना लंच बनाता है तो एक जना डिनर बनाता है. सबके पास 3 आवर्स हैं टू डू देयर ओन थिंग इन द मिडल ऑफ द आफ्टरनून. मॉर्निंग में जिसको जल्दी नहीं उठना तो वो इवनिंग का काम ले लेता है. एंड वी आर गिविंग ईच अदर स्पेस, एंड वी आर नॉट ट्राइंग. दिस इज नॉट अ टाइम टू रिजॉल्व कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स, क्योंकि आप सब एक ही स्पेस में हैं. तो हल्के टॉपिक्स उठाएं, एक दूसरे से बात करें. और ऑफ कोर्स बच्चे हैं, हाथ बटाना है घर में. ये नहीं है कि नो यू विल स्टिल स्लीप टिल 12 PM एंड मजे करेंगे. नो, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स तभी कम होंगे व्हेन वी टेक an active participation at home to help out with meal, to help out with dishes, और पेरेंट्स ने अगर काम किया उनकी मसाज कर दो. सो लुक आउट फॉर ईच अदर. तब कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स कम होंगे अगर आप पॉजिटिव चीजों पे ज्यादा बात करोगे. दैट इज वन वे टू लुक एट इट. बट ऑफ कोर्स if this is getting more and your parents are not kind of understanding and they're doing some extreme nagging and not respecting your space, I also give family counseling. एक live webinar हो सकता है. You can give a talk before we can understand parents के दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है, आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है, and as a counselor I can mediate that and make your home situation better. Next question. Good afternoon. Evening हो गया. I finally got to see you. I feel lucky. I'm in a long distance relationship from 6 years and I'm totally happy to be in that. But my boyfriend is really busy with his job and I'm doing my master's. There is a little something that is lagging. I need to make our relationship happier. Please help me. Okay, so you are happy with the long distance part of your relationship and it's been 6 years. But as you have quoted, your boyfriend is too busy and you are doing a master's and something that is lagging or missing. So sometimes na, this is what I call love language. किसी की love language होती है, I want to speak to the other person at least 3 times a day. I want a video call. These are your desires. दूसरे की love language होती है कि मैंने एक दिन में एक बारी बात कर तो ली. That's more than enough. So कभी एक point आता है, ये mismatch हो जाता है, match हो जाता है. और आप बोल रही हैं आप मास्टर्स कर रही हैं और वो जॉब कर रही हैं, जॉब कर रहा है. तो the demands for a person who's doing masters versus a job are very different. So I feel in your case, you need to have an honest communication about your love language. There is a very nice quiz. You just have to type in Google search love language quiz. You understand what their top 5 things are and your top 5 things. That's a good way to start a communication. I hope this helps. If not, you can again reach out to me. Now let me go back and take some questions that I had received earlier. in my past, I have issues about my color complexity and how I look, and also figure wise. I'm losing confidence and I have self doubt. How do I erase that? Though I am a topper and do well in extracurricular activities, how do I kind of deal with it? So, for people who are kind of in a space, not a healthy space regarding their body image and their looks, but like this person analyzed and thought, okay, what am I good at? So this person gets confidence from topping and being good at curricular activities. So this person is kind of trying to strike a balance. In such scenarios, we do something called self affirmations. We help you look inward at your strengths and also start to love your body. Only when you start to love your body and respect and value it will you realize, I love my body and I value and respect it. Because I love and value and respect it for what it does for me, I'm going to make sure I don't eat that extra piece of cake because I love and value it. So if your love and value is missing and you dislike your body, then you're just going to binge eat and do those other things. And like I have gained weight, but I part of me wants to sometimes feel like, no, I don't love my body or I can't exercise, I've injured myself. But if I don't value and respect it, then I won't stop myself from changing to a healthier nutrition or trying to make attempts to jog or finding ways to exercise. If it's not yoga, if it's not walking, just play your favorite song and dance to it. You can have online dance sessions. So there are ways, but you'll start to think of the solutions only when you start to be like, okay, this is my body, this is my only vehicle, this is what supports me, and I have to give it care and love. And it will take time, slowly, but I will get there. Next question. I'm going to take the one that has just come now. Um, Another question is how to stay focused on studies. And work from home is mentally exhausting. I'm going to kind of, there are more questions regarding the same things. Work from home, and my exams are coming and I'm feeling very stressed. So, okay, exam stress is one completely separate area. Again, you are seeing exam as this big thing that you have put so much of pressure internal, and it, the stress that this is going to determine everything. So your perspective towards exam, you need to analyze and change. How? Again, this is just an exam. It is to check my memory and learning. So that means I need to read a book and know the concept subject. When you pick up a chapter to read it, go in with the mindset, I am just reading this because I love knowledge, not with the intent to memorize it. So do first reading of a chapter. Just read all the chapters once. Then you can be like, okay, now that I've read it, I know what it's about. Now I will reread a chapter, but on the basis of all questions that can be asked from. And then you can underline that. So this way, you are taking away that stress and the concept of exam and getting into it. Of course, if you're unable to get into a schedule, it is important. You have to take a bath. You have to fix your sleep cycle. You have to drink plenty of water. You have to eat healthy fruits, because our body is a machine that needs all of these things to work effectively. So try to make these some lifestyle changes for now, and the perspective that you have regarding the exam, and see if it has an impact. How to build positive body image suffering from hirsutism and PCOD. Hi, I have hirsutism as well. I had to undergo hair laser since 9th grade. I've gone through laser 6 times. I have natural hirsutism, dad ki genes mil gayi, so I understand this completely, and what a low blow it can take. I was the basketball team captain, but I had some very nasty people also in my school who would tease me on the amount of hair I had, and then I had to undergo waxing, and it was painful. It led to skin issues. So I understand it takes a complete toll on your mental health, and PCOD as well. So the idea right now is for you to understand that that is just an outer look. Don't let these outer things spoil your personality. If you are good and kind and humble, people will like you. And those who will still want to focus only on your outer appearance, they are not good people to begin with or somebody to give your attention to. As far as PCOD and hirsutism comes, there are a lot of effective ways of coping with it. You can see my skin is looking good and I'm happier. I found some ways. You can personally contact me. Even if you have PCOD, my mother is a gynecologist, and she's got a lot of cases of PCOD, PCOS, endometriosis, vulvodynia, vaginismus. There are treatments. You just have to reach out, and you have to love your body first with its issues. Only then will you feel like working on taking away those issues.
So I would like to request everyone, we are having just 5 to 6 more minutes.
Okay.
So everyone please send their questions to the ma'am.
Okay. So stress, panic attacks, for anybody who's having panic attacks, please reach out to me personally. And I'm going to take some questions that I received earlier. Somebody saying, I'm unable to be serious about anything. So again, we have to work on a perspective. Where is that rooted? Why are you unable to take anything seriously? We have to really dig deep and understand, what do I really care about? And then bring more things into our life that we care about. I have a bad habit of judging others. I don't want to. Help me out. Sometimes it can be our own projection towards other people. Also, judging is a harsh word. It's okay for you to analyze things, but there's a difference between judging and saying. So we all need to have a filter in us. Whatever is going on that you are judging, एक बहुत अच्छी भाषा में मतलब बोलते हैं, when you point your finger at somebody, you'll notice that there are 3 fingers pointing at you when you're pointing at someone, and this also. So always know that when you're pointing at somebody, you're actually, there's something in here that you're trying to, that you're either ignoring or not really getting into. So I'm feeling very rushed because we don't have enough time. Most of it is related to stress and motivation, from what I'm understanding, and emotional issues. So stress, emotion, motivation, again, our brain has a place to release happy hormones. Those chemicals can only work at their best and reduce your negative thinking, your negative emotions and stress if you allow brain to get rest at the right time. Half the symptoms of my clients who reached out to me during lockdown, I made them first correct their sleep cycle, gave them some healthy self-affirmation exercises and breathing techniques, gave them some solutions to get their sleep and food back into a good schedule, and most of their negative thinking and negative emotions went away. Then we could get down to some real issues that we had to work through, because when so much negative thinking is happening, then you're like, you're totally confused and there's chaos here. So the idea is to unlayer it one at a time. And I really request that as children, this is not the time to pull all-nighters. You have to respect your body. Please give it good time for rest and food. Interact with your family on light topics. Watch light, healthy things. If news is bothering you right now, you don't need to know everything in the news right now. Somebody or the other will just inform you कि lockdown lift हो गया या ये हो गया है. That is all that you need to know. So how do you fix sleep cycle now? So the idea is, first day it's difficult. ये phone जो है, इसको 10 PM से पहले आप ऑफ करके एक 8 AM का अलार्म लगाएं, और इस फोन को वॉकिंग डिस्टेंस फार एंड अवे ऑफ द रूम रखें. चाहे नींद ना आए, कोशिश करें. देयर आर सम टेक्निक्स. यू कैन do a grounding technique where you are counting, you start to focus on how many sounds you can hear. 5 sounds, then do second round. Okay, I can hear these 4 sounds. Then what can you feel on your skin? You come to the present, and you then tell yourself, I must sleep. Sleep is good for my body, and get the rest. First day it will be difficult, but the idea is you have to wake up at that 8 AM and do the day, even if you're feeling fatigued. Reduce your consumption of caffeine. You don't need coffee and tea so much. Only have caffeine before sunset, not after, once it gets dark. Exercise will stress out your body, release good happy hormones, and bring in sleep. So if you're unable to sleep at night, Just jog. You can now have Cult Fit. You have YouTube videos. Just watch it and try to do it. I know it's difficult to motivate oneself, but it has to begin somewhere. And if it's really difficult right now, please reach out to a counselor for help so we can understand your unique situation and help accordingly. That's all the questions I could take today. Maybe Fergus can organize another one, or you all can reach out to me personally. I'm Divya Dureja. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Fergus, for organizing this. I'm sorry I've not been able to take all the questions. I have over 20 questions here and more here, and time just doesn't allow us to do that. I will share 2 video links that are on YouTube. I thought they were very helpful in addressing isolation and how to make friends at this time and be positive. So I will share those videos, and you can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, and we can take things ahead accordingly. Have a good day. Stay positive. And when I say stay positive, I need you to focus on the positive things in life that you have gratitude for, that you are grateful for. And that's how positivity comes. All right.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much, ma'am, for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
So I'm launching one pool.
Mhm.
Everyone is requested to give your feedback for the session so that we can arrange another session to
Mhm.
take all the questions that we are left out due to
Yeah.
less time. So
Yeah.
I'm launching.
And I will send the video link to you. I think you can send it via email to somebody.
Yes, ma'am, sure. So everyone, please fill the form and make your progress submit to it.
Thank you, everyone who joined in. Take care. Watch comedy. Don't guilt yourself over what you're eating. Eat 3 healthy meals. Eat lots of fruit. Drink lots of water. I'm not a nutritionist, but this is a basic jugaad.
Thank you so much, ma'am, as your session filled positivity.
Thank you for all the nice messages you're sending to me. Saksham, do we have some more time, or are we ending the
So
live?
at 4:50, I will end it.
Okay, so 1 minute.
Yeah.
Thank you. Such sweet messages.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. You're most welcome.